Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you're having a great day so far. Today I got another SPAC. We've been really hitting home runs with these SPACs recently. We'll go into the spreadsheet in a second here, but this is another one very similar to one I took a few months ago that went up about 60% before I sold out of it, and I can see the same thing happening here. But this is another SPAC, not a penny stock. This is a SPAC. It's currently sitting at 1068, but after hours is up to 1090. So let's get right into this. So this one is ASPL. So they are going to be merging with Wheels Up, so the private aviation company, if you guys know about that one. So we similarly were in EXPC a long time ago. We were in it at 1040. That's when I called it. That was a video a long time ago. You guys could go way back and see that if you want, but it went up, I guess not 60%, but 45%. And if we look at the spreadsheet here, we sold at 1532. That's when it hit my trailing stop loss, and that's this one right here. So EXPC, we got in at 1039 and we sold at 1532 for 47% profit. This to me seems like it's going to have another pop, similarly to the other one that we talked about the other day, which was Pace. You know, we called that one at 1092 and it shot up another $1, up 10% nearly. So this is one that's waiting to pop up. This is ASPL. It's basically just a rumor at this point, but it's very certain that it is going to go through. They don't have a formal DA, but it went through on Bloomberg, and I'm very much so sure that this one is going to go through. Once that DA gets submitted, this thing should be soaring into the $15-16 range, right with its brother EXPC up at $15. So we're looking at around 40% upside from where we are now. And if we hold even further, this is actually a long-term play potentially if you believe in the space. Private aircrafts, it's a sketchy business. A lot go bankrupt, but Wheels Up is the second largest in the entire world, or at least North America, and they are second to Berkshire's private aviation platform. But before we get into what they really are, we already know that they're a private aviation company, but I'm going to head over to their Twitter, okay? I just want to show you how much publicity these guys have. If we first of all, we could look at their followers, 186,000 followers, and they have some of the biggest names partnered up with them. Congratulations to our members, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Bruce Arians on winning the Super Bowl, whatever. But these are their partners just on this team. The investors, I think JJ Watt is an investor. That's what this picture is right here. Russell Wilson, he won the Walter Payton Award, and he won it because of his work that he did with Wheels Up Foundation, the one that feeds people. Wheels Up, Meals Up is what they call them. So they feed people there, but that's why he won. So a lot of publicity is coming to this company. A lot of already built-in publicity and clout already just by the amount of followers and just the people that use this, the amount of names there are that use this company. But yeah, let's go ahead and look through this. We don't have a formal investor presentation, but we don't really need the numbers for this one. It's a SPAC play. People don't care about the valuations. It's going to come in at $2 billion valuation, but people see this as the future of aviation. This could be the Uber of aviation. That's really what it's being compared to at this point. EXPC was interesting. That's what they were trying to make similarities to, but I for sure think Wheels Up has a better chance of being that Uber of air transportation type deal. So obviously this is a pretty pricey thing, you know, private aviation's not cheap. So let's look at their pricing. So here are the core memberships. So there's three main ones, and you need one of these before you could even use their service. So Connect membership, this is the standard membership. It's going to cost $3,000, which I'm assuming is not too bad for aviation. That actually seems pretty cheap. But if you want the core membership or the business membership, we're talking into the 5-figure range, which is definitely elite. But if we look at the people that they're traveling around, JJ Watt, Russell, like a bunch of sports players, a bunch of wealthy people in general, we shouldn't be too worried about this. They are the second largest. They're one of the cheapest by far, so we don't have to worry about that. But this is the first revenue stream. After this, they actually have to pay for the flights. These flights probably range from probably 10,000 up is what my assumption is, considering it's a private airline. But what's lovely about their business model is out of all of these planes, you know, this is their trademark thing, Up, so that if you ever see that, that's what this company is. They have a fleet over 1,500 that they are capable of using, 1,500 private aircrafts, but they only own, I think, roughly under 200 of them. Now, the way they're able to do this, they always are merging with new companies. They actually merged with Delta. They have a great partnership with Delta currently, but they also have just ongoing partnerships with other aviation. But a big end of their actual business is not just, you know, the plane part of it, but it's also the technology they use. They're really commercializing private airlines in a way, in a sense. I know that sounds weird, but they make it so easy to be able to just go on an app, sign up, get your private aviation, no crazy phone calls, not a chain of 100 emails, none of that nonsense. Just app, membership, pick where you want to go, plane will be there waiting for you. So for the wealthy people, this is definitely going to be the main one here. So I think this is going to be the future of this airline industry for private aviation at least. But we could take a look through the fleet. You could look all the way down here. So they also offered like shared flights. So instead of just one unit or something, you could share the flight with multiple people, other members. So it's not just going to be random people, but it's going to be other members can join you. It'll split the cost. So you don't need a 6-person seat if you only have 2 people, for example. But that's the main gist of it. They have some big investors, big partners. As we said, they had Delta, their investors. They got, so since 2013, the company has received several rounds of investing totaling $536 million. And these are from Fidelity, Franklin Templeton, T. Rowe. And then actually in 2019, they raised $128 million, and that was at a $1.1 billion valuation. So since then, they are now at a $2 billion valuation, and we're still pretty close to that with how we are not too far above the NAV yet. At 1050, they were estimating a $2 billion valuation. And so that is really what we're sitting at. So it's only sitting at 1.7% above that. Realistically, your max loss here, if it were to go down, the lowest it could go really is $10. And that is only 5% down. That's pretty good reward risk ratio, considering your upside is hundreds and hundreds of percent. So anything under, I would say 1110, 1120 is a really good buy here, and that's where I'll be buying it. But we got to look at the future of the business as well, because we got to determine, is this just going to be a swing trade, or are we going to hold this thing for a long term? That's what I always got to decide with these SPACs. There's a few that I want to hold long term, a few that I just want to dump after they get pumped all the way to the moon. A lot of those EV companies, that's how I feel about them. A lot of people disagree with me with that, but I got to say, there's not going to be that many. We don't need 50 EV companies. We only need a few. Not only that, is that GM, Ford, Chevy, all of these different companies are coming in hot with EVs, so only a few of them are going to survive. So that's just my SPAC insight for you. A lot of these companies are going to go under, so always have your trailing stop losses set. So I just want to go through a few notes of this Forbes website. So they have a few notes from the CEO, and that's really important for me because this is all we really have at this point. Here's a quote he said in this interview. If I said to 100 people, Wheels Up is going to fly everyone home for free on Wednesday, everybody would accept the offer. Humans are hardwired to want to fly private 100%. My belief and vision for where Wheels Up is going is we want to bring not just the private flying experience to everybody, but the private flying lifestyle to everybody. So his ideas are a lot different than just a straight up business. They are really thinking about how they could evolve this whole industry. So they are an industry disruptor in this situation to make private flying more accessible to others. That's really what I'm getting from this, from the CEO here. He wants private flying not to just be for the elitist of the elite. He wants this to be accessible to any wealthy person. And it really is true. You know, everyone sees private as very being exclusive. Everybody wants what other people can't have. So it makes a lot of sense why you use that analogy. And referring to his own business as growth, he compared himself to Nike actually. So they started out as a running company in 1969. That's a small niche. That's what our industry is today. Nike, because of the way they set their brand up, they are a skateboard company. They do fashion collaborations with Louis Vuitton. They're in the basketball business. They're in the football business, so on and so forth. Now that relation doesn't make sense if you don't think outside the box here, but his next quote kind of clarifies that up. When I look at the world, I see 7.5 billion private flyers who haven't flown privately yet. If we end up in the hats and apparel business and it's a little jet instead of a horse and a mallet, I'll take that too. So from my understanding, he's just trying to build something. It doesn't matter what. It has to just be a growth in this industry to transform this industry. In his opinion, it's all about the brand trust in the same way that consumers trust Nike, Polo, or Amazon. Trusted customer brands have permission to do a lot of things and have incredible flexibility on what they can do with their businesses and business models. Our ultimate goal is to deliver the private jet lifestyle to tens of millions of people. But just from that interview, you can really get a real vibe of what he's like as a person, what he's like as a business owner. He's not just talking business. He's talking about disrupting the entire industry. And so I believe they have a chance to really run it. I think once we see the actual DA, the actual investor presentation, I can make my determination if I want to hold this long term or not. But for now, it's looking like it's going to be a real disruptor here. And I want to get in while it's young as a SPAC, under $11. That is a fantastic price. So I'm going to be getting in. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. I will be adding it to the spreadsheet, and we will get in, and I will write this thing down once we get whatever price we get purchased in at. I don't know how much it's going to go pre-market. Looks like it's at 10.98. Hopefully we see a little dip once the market enters. Hopefully this little hype bubble settles down a little bit. But anything, once again, anything under like 1110, 1120, I'm all in here. Buy a few hundred shares the same way I did with Latch, same way I bought 50 shares with these other ones. I wish I bought more of these ones, but kind of restricted on capital right now. When you're in this many SPACs and this many penny stocks, and of course long-term investments as well, everything just gets a little strapped. So you really got to pick which ones you think are actually going to run. So I like the ones near NAV. They have more room to run. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing with ASPL. All right, that's going to do it for this one. If you guys are getting into this, let me know what other things you guys find out down below. If you guys are into this, let me know what price you guys get in at. If you are buying this, if not, tell me why, what's stopping you. I'm always willing to look for more due diligence. So please do. If you have any, comment it down below. I'll be sure to read it. But that's going to do it. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.